After you said that, I was already on cheap tickets looking for a nice ticket to South America. Because that's the way I like it as well, cats. In the top left side of Death Aura. We're looking at the main base of the Mexican Zerg. We've been speaking plenty about him. He's representing Axon. It is Chamico. What? I remember.
Chamaco.
Chamaco, damn it. We'll get there one day, man.
Yeah. Miko it has another meaning too. Nothing offensive, luckily, but but close potentially. I'm not sure. I'm not even gonna translate.
So all right. No. Save me, cats. Talk to CVT about me, please.
All right. So we have Kelazhur opening very standard with a Reaper, looking like a Reaper expand. On the other side, Cham has opened as normal as he also could. So nothing particularly interesting, but a lag spike.
We are cursed today.
Yeah, it seems
Rumsley.
like it.
You know, for the last 5 years, I actually thought that Rumsley was the French Protoss player, and I was like, damn, this guy is really passionate, because not only does he play ladder all day, he's apparently also disgusting each and every single game out there. But apparently this Rumsley, or Rumsly, is Mexican, so today I learned.
Oh, nice. I wonder what Rumsley then. Rumsley. Nathanius can actually roll his R's quite well. It's very impressive.
Maybe he's Finnish, like Velamo. Reaper fast expand. So powerful.
Yes, indeed. Well, that Reaper is so fast on those hot acceleration zones. He's going to cross the map as quickly as he can, and he's just going to find nothing of importance. Cham already hiding the drone at the third so that this Reaper doesn't stand a chance to deny it. So, doing just his due diligence for the time being.
So do you think that Cham has a couple of very special Roach builds prepared for us? Because we know that he's got stuff up his sleeve.
Yeah, I think so, especially on those very short maps that we're going to end up seeing. He has to try something aggressive, and I think last time he did some Roach aggression, maybe with something like Queen drops or something kind of out of the ordinary. So, I would love to see something like that.
And I guess on Death Aura, we're going to see a relatively more standard build. Maybe just some good old Mutaling Bane. The Lurkers are popular in this matchup, in this day and age, but Cham doesn't really strike me as a Lurker guy.
Yeah, not so much. He goes them occasionally, but I would say in the mid game and just he can also power up. I think he's very good at min-maxing, like kind of just leaning in on his advantages. And if he wants to make drones, he'll make 1,000,000 drones. If he wants to make army, he'll do only that. And that's kind of how I think of Cham. It's just like a very, I don't know, self-assured player. It's like very decisive.
Yeah, I feel like he's a man of extremes. Either makes way too many units when he shouldn't make them, or he makes way too many drones when he shouldn't make them. But because he does it all the time, he does find a couple of loopholes, so to speak, in the CVT meta. And every now and then he gets away with it. Is it enough to close out this best of 5 against the favorite? Well, we're about to find out. Kelazhur is going for a very safe build, right? Triple command center, Heli and Banshee. And I think we're going to see this quite often of Kelazhur in this best of 5. That is a relatively early Baning Nest. Why is he building a Baning Nest already?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's probably just safety, maybe anticipating that he doesn't know what Kelazhur has, so he's sacrificing an Overlord at the same time, but maybe he feels like if Kelazhur, is making many Hellions and tries to turn them into Hellbats or something, he wants something to deal with that.
He's going to be fine. Does spot the second barracks, spots the starport with the researching tech lab as well, so should be aware of the fact that Cloak Banshees are most likely heading his way. Did not see the third command center, but I have the feeling he should be expecting that.
Yeah, he should be well aware. Let's hope that Cham does not over-defend. He is making a lot of workers here, so kind of staying true to what we were talking about. He's gonna need some spores, though, here sooner rather than later, as the Banshee is already crossing the map.
Yep, I like the spore in between the bases. I think that's kind of cool, because that's often where Hellions and Banshees get together and start putting some real pressure on your queens. If you just have that one spore crawler to keep those Banshees at bay, that can really make your defense so much easier.
Yeah, it's also good for the Banshees when they pull back and just kind of try to get the transferring drones. Oh, very nice job by Kelazhur. They're trying to get rid of the larva, though he is not able to. He will find himself some space to do damage with this Banshee. Well positioned, will kill 3 workers more or less for free, not taking a lot of damage.
Yep, Kelazhur cancelled Cloak as well. I didn't really pick up on that, but after it got scouted by the Overlord, that's actually kind of sick. Because Kelazhur made it seem like he's going for Hellion and then double Banshee Cloak, right? Instead, the Banshee was kind of just a safety Banshee. And hey, if I can get any damage with it, that's awesome. But above all, it's going to keep you safe. He forced out 5 Spore Crawlers with a single Cloakless Banshee.
Yeah, a really amazing start for him. And not just that, but it also hits a little bit sooner than the Cloak would. So also catches Cham, out of position with those queens. And even furthermore, killing 2 more workers. That Banshee's already up to 5. Not including all the damage, all the indirect damage that you've just described.
And another good trade for Kelazhur as a very random SCV that was carrying gas. Made his way to the other side of the map. Basically walked into the natural of Cham, said, I come in peace. Here is some gas. Banelings blew it up.
That is a good trade. Wow, all right. Cham is going to continue to try and spread this creep. It's the only thing that he wants to have having for him. I mean, he has had the queens here the entire time, and Kelazhur just over and over denying this creep and really not taking much damage on the Hellions either.
I feel like Cham is in so much trouble. He made 5 Spore Crawlers when he needed technically 0 Spore Crawlers. Now he's making Mutas, but obviously doesn't have Baneling speed yet. There are 22 Marines. I feel last time they played against each other on this map, Kelazhur did make a couple of missteps, right, with his Marine positioning, and took a few too many hits by Banelings that he didn't really have to take. There is so much potential in this push for Kelazhur already.
Yeah, though the Mutas are really scary as well. He has to be careful with those because if Cham ever has enough units to surround this, then Kelazhur can lose everything for nearly nothing. So he's trying and trying to be as careful as he can be because this Muta can really punish these early move outs. But you're right, that was a move out that was very scary given that the Baneling speed was not ready.
Why is there no combat shield?
Just an oversight, it must be.
I hope Kelazhur picks up on that. I mean, he should realize when he stims his Marines that they're taking a lot of damage. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Also 2-2 very diligently from Kelazhur, where Cham is just starting his Evo chamber.
Oh, big mistake. Mutas actually were just kind of chilling near the rocks. Cham looked away, lost 3 Mutas. I mean, that's 300 minerals, 300 gas down the drain for absolutely nothing.
Yeah, definitely. And Kelazhur already floating the CC to take a 4th. The Banshee still doing damage. Finally, some breathing room for Cham that finds a base without a Spore on it. So this Banshee is doing what it can to equalize things. It's well clicked onto different drones where Kelazhur is going to pull back and defend as well. So kind of an even trade, each player losing 5 workers there. Though Kelazhur also loses the Banshee.
I gotta say though, that's a better trade for Kelazhur, right? Because that Banshee is kind of pointless, and there were 5 Spore Crawlers. The fact that Banshee still finds 5 kills before it goes down, with this many Mutas out on the map, I mean, I think that is bonus points for Kelazhur. Well, yeah, Cham's Mutas, they are supposed to deal that damage. The Banshee of Kelazhur absolutely was not.
Yeah, most definitely. I love what Kelazhur and the way that he has been playing this game. I think he's looking to hit with 2-2. He's already transitioned into Drilling Claws. I think this is one of the best responses against Mutiling Bane. And you gotta borrow those mines though. Oh, misclick there, or is it?
Get out of my game, Mute. Oh, Widow Mines might do some friendly fire, nope, but the Banelings do get decent connections, but there is a little bio hit spot on the top side of the map as well that's casually running into this base, killing 9 drones, a couple of overlords, and Cham set almost all of his units to deal with those 16 Marines, which means the base at 9 o'clock is in serious trouble.
Yeah, both bases seem to be in serious trouble right now as Kelazhur pre-splits to not take too much damage from this Banelings, hitting even before 2-2, so 2-2 is about to finish. Drilling Claws also, things are about to get better somehow for Kelazhur, and you know, that's saying a lot, Roddy, seeing as this game looks really rough for Cham.
Yep, Kelazhur is 4 upgrades ahead, and he's dealing economic damage. Yeah, good luck, Afonso. I think that Cham knows it as well. This game is pretty much over. Just kind of a disaster. Completely misread as those Banelings just kind of finish up right next to the Marines. But I think even if those Banelings explode right on top of the Marines, there is no saving this game anymore.
Yeah, it is extremely difficult, and Kelazhur has done such a great job of just scaling up with the units that he needs as he pushes on forward. Cham is the type of player that will stay in the game until the last dying breath, but I think that's exactly what we're seeing here as there's a line of red coming all the way from Kelazhur's base, and Cham is forced to tap out.
12,000 I was hoping for. I don't know. I just feel that Diego comes in very prepared. I think he's been playing a lot of StarCraft as well because he's living in the Netherlands. And let me just tell you, everything is closed. There is 0 fun to be had in the Netherlands at this point, other than playing StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I see what you were saying there. It's kind of like a difficult thought to finish, but I agree with you, right? Like if you're Kelazhur, you basically have 2 chances to beat Cham in your mind, and then you know you lose when you're like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll just prepare next time. But there was no next time that time because Cham, you know, crashed major with or special. Who would have seen that coming?
Nobody. That's gotta be the worst feeling, right? When you lose a series, you're like, oh my god, I shouldn't have lost it. But it's okay, because he's gonna lose in the upper bracket final anyway, and then I'll get my revenge. And then the one guy you probably feel is stronger than you in this entire region loses the upper bracket final. You're like, no, what are you doing? Like that defeat of special basically costed him $1,700 back then.
It really did. Yeah, that is actually hilarious. All right, so Diego's gonna cross with his Reaper very fast. This is a faster Reaper than usual, and he's usually very good already with them. Going after the drone potentially, but the Lynx are gonna zone out nicely for now.
Yep, we've seen earlier this week that these Reapers just got a little too much damage done. Cham wasn't totally on point. This time he is on point. It is hard to keep all your units alive. First Zergling does go down. Second Link could maybe go down, but he saves that one. I gotta say, I'd be okay with this. Losing a single Zergling on Submarine, I honestly think that's very acceptable.
Yeah, it's very decent start for Cham. I mean, yeah, the Reaper's not really supposed to find anything. A Zergling is, yeah, pretty acceptable, and on Submarine, of all things, not bad at all. Diego is gonna get some scouting information. He's gonna see additional drones being produced, so there's definitely not anything like a super fast like Ravager or something of the sort. And will also scout the 3rd base with his Reaper.
Yep, these kinds of scouts, obviously we see them all the time and they may not seem like a big deal, but if you're playing a big series in a stressful environment, every little bit of information you can get your hands on is important. And for Kelazhur, just to hop into that main base, see a couple of extra drones being produced and being transferred into the natural, that gives him the confirmation that at least he's safe for the next minute in this game. What happens afterwards? Well, he's gonna have to double check and confirm that again, especially against a very tricky Zerg like Cham, right?
Yeah, but like we were talking about, I think he's playing to Cham's strengths and to the map, where he is going once again for the Cloaked Banshee, and this time around delaying the 3rd CC for it. So again, very, very well accounted for is this map, and if Cham goes for the road attack, I don't think it would work.
No, and let's not forget that last game, Cham drops a Baneling Nest, so we get to see Mutaling Bane again this time.
There it is.
All right, it's going to be Banshee Hellion, but this time I really don't mind the Baneling Nest, obviously, because this is a 2-base opening. It's not a triple command center opening, so it makes sense to get it a little bit earlier. This could very well be Hellbat Banshee. A couple of drones are exposed there. A single one gets picked off. But I feel that Cham has the tools to deal with this.
Yeah, definitely. With the Banelings coming in, this will be a Hellbat attack, like you were saying, on the side of Kelazhur. And what I love from Kelazhur in doing this is that last time around, he also kept his Hellions with high HP, and he didn't really sacrifice them or YOLO them, and he didn't go for the Hellbats. So here he's maybe thinking he'll catch Cham off guard, but unfortunately for him, Cham already has a Baneling Nest, though he doesn't have any Banelings just yet.
Perfect timing on that Spore Crawler as it finished up like a second before that Banshee showed up. This time Cloak is real. That Banshee was actually taking a couple of extra hits. I have no idea where the vision came from. Now the Hellbats are gonna zone the Queens away a little bit. That drone that morphed into a Spore Crawler will get picked up immediately. Where are those Banelings when you need them, Cut?
Yeah, they're a little bit late to morph. They are morphed and tucked in the middle line of Cham, so he will get to them. But I'm not sure if fast enough. Oh, those Hellbats trying to go to the clump of drones, but they're not gonna even be able to get there. They get a surround on the Queens, but who's surrounding who? As the rest of the Lynx come to clear them out.
I really don't understand why Kelazhur didn't send 2 Hellbats into the 3rd. There was really nothing there. All the Queens were in the natural. Now Neil's Sportcrawler has finished up. One more Queen will fall, but I gotta say, pretty good defense overall. Especially because this was obviously off 2 command centers and not 3.
Yeah, and Cham didn't really get a heads up about the Hellbat play. I mean, he was ready for it as far as preparing with the Baneling Nest, but he morphed those Banelings really slow, really slow, yeah, when he saw the attack already at his doorstep. So I do feel like Kelazhur could have done a little bit more with it.
I gotta say, I didn't mind his hold at first, and I thought it was actually pretty well handled, even though the Baneling connections weren't the greatest. They were kind of on individual targets, but all of it was fine. But then the random leftover Banshee that was already on half HP just casually gets 5 drone kills in the main base, and this kind of stuff, it just shouldn't happen. And at this level, it's really not supposed to happen either.
Yeah, finding that space is very difficult. Obviously, it's very risky for Kelazhur to go in there. I can't even blame Cham for the spore positioning, but maybe a little bit slow of a reaction to bring the queens and shoo that Banshee away. Kelazhur is gonna take a fast third base, but Cham is already established on a fourth, or establishing a fourth and taking a Roach Warren. So after all, I think we will see a Roach attack. I wouldn't mind seeing Corruptors either, though. Very few Zergs go for it.
I almost feel like this is a CVP build order where it's like, we're going to make 7 Mutas and hope that the Protoss overreacts, and then we're just going to steamroll them with Roach Ravager Bane. But this is very odd, right? He's just getting everything. He's not getting double Evo as well, and Baneling speed. What's the Roach Warren for then?
I would love to see Corruptors out of the Spire. That's the only thing that I can think if he wants to commit for the ground on the Roaches. I personally don't like Muta Roach that much, though some people do like it. The Spire will be spotted as well. And yeah, the problem with this in CVT as opposed to in CVP where you make random Mutas is that Terran still just wants to make Marines anyway. So
yeah. You're not like, okay, we're going to force out Marines with upgrades that are still really good against every other unit I'm making.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, maybe the Roach one was just a misclick because it doesn't really look like he wants to use it. What is happening though is that Kelazhur is making his way to the other side of the map for the first time. +1 is about to finish up, +1 armor as well. That tank positioning is beautiful, and I'm a bit worried already for Cham.
Yeah, no combat shields. The good thing for Cham, however, is that there's a few plants that are gonna cover if the medevacs and the Banshee are not there, for the tanks to not see units flanking as early as they could. Cham is really waiting for Baneling speed to even attempt at an engagement here, but I mean, I don't mind it. If Kelazhur's not pushing in, the longer this goes, the better for Cham as far as the defense.
Yep, I definitely do think he was waiting for Baneling speed. That is ready at this point. Kelazhur seemed to be a little bit worried, picked up a couple of Marines immediately. He's going to unload them again. Cham is going for a counterattack, but there's still a lot of Marines there.
Yeah, and now he can come back and collapse onto Cham's army. I would not like to see, I would not like to see Cham give Kelazhur any more room to wiggle here. He really needs to collapse from multiple angles, and he needs to do it quickly before Kelazhur reinforces this position. Here we go.
Really beautiful engagement. Cham should be able to clean this up. I gotta say, misclick there a little bit with his Lings and Banes. But I do like it, right? Because the counterattack kept the reinforcements at home, and then this army didn't get any bigger, and then eventually Cham could just clean it up. Bit worried about the upgrades because he's almost a full cycle of upgrades behind. He's starting to lose a Muta here and there, but no, Cham. That's the second time this series. You can't be making mistakes like that.
Yeah, those are really expensive too, but Kelazhur, of course, forcing the mistakes by being everywhere and lag.
Oh no, it's Cham.
Chamiko.
Okay.
All right.
We're good. His camera was frozen as well. I was like, is he still with us? He is.
Is his camera frozen? I think he's just in the dark.
Beats a bit of love, who knows? He's just very intense when he's playing a big best of 5, cats.
Hills, yeah. Now this Widowmine's not as careful as they could be, I think, in preparing for a big siege. A few of them are a little bit clumped up, but it seems good enough for Kelazhur to make way through and kill this fourth, actually. At the same time, Cham has a little bit of a counter-attack going to deny Kelazhur's fourth, but this is really good for the Brazilian Terran. Wow.
Yeah, those were amazing Widowmine connections. The Marines will just stand their ground right now and fight the Zerglings, fight the Mutas. The counterattack really didn't do that much, and Kelazhur will take it.
From like Snow White is what I think of.
Yeah. Diego stands there every night, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the prettiest Terran of them all? It's like, it's you. And he's like, nice.
I could imagine Cham with his current image being the person on the mirror as well right now.
Yeah, if you're having a nightmare, it's like, it's me. He starts crawling out of it. Now, man, I feel a little bit for Cham because we know that he is good enough to make this at least a very competitive series. Like, I know that he's the underdog going up against Kelazhur. Once in a blue moon, he wins. More often than not, he is going to fall short. But we know that he can push Kelazhur to the limit at least, play his A game. But I feel in both games, it's been Cham killing himself more than Kelazhur truly owning Cham.
Yeah, I mean, Kelazhur is just such a difficult player to keep up with. Cham sometimes up to the task, but so far not really. And you talked about this and you brought it up during the break, Roddy, that Roach Warren. And it really seems like a little thing, but when you're doing things that you don't have any reason to do, it really speaks to the place that you're at mentally.
In my opinion, game 2 was lost at 2 moments. It was when that Banshee was, because the initial defense really wasn't that bad. But then it's just one leftover Banshee that's almost even going down to a bunch of queens, just casually flies into the main, gets 5 more drones, and all of a sudden a so-so attack becomes somewhat decent for Kelazhur. And then on top of that, Cham just felt a bit indecisive. Like, why are we building a Roach Warren when you don't need one? If you want to play Mutterling Bane, you don't need roaches.
Yeah, especially when you already have the investment into a Baneling Nest, which is kind of redundant. That say against Hellbats, you could argue, okay, maybe I'll make a few roaches. But if you already got the Banelings, you don't really need that. So a little bit of redundancies there as Kelazhur goes back to heavy macro play for this game.
Yeah, and then let's not forget in game 1, but Cham misread the opening a little bit. He scouted, but he got taken full advantage of. Thought he was going up against Cloak Banshees, but he wasn't. Made 5 Spore Crawlers and still took a lot of damage from a Cloakless Banshee. I mean, it may not seem like this is where games are won or lost, but if your opponent is as good as Kelazhur, you simply cannot make any errors like that. Not with your tournament life on the line in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. Good job by Cham here so far, trying to corner that Reaper, though unsuccessful. I appreciate the attempt from the Queen flank. It's a really heads-up play, but Kelazhur also smelling it and retreats with the Reaper early enough. Now, this Crypt Tumor I'm not a huge fan of, like the next Crypt Tumor that Cham just placed. I feel like if he places it forward, it does the exact same thing to connect his natural on his third regardless once the third finishes. But pretty small detail there.
Yeah, maybe it will just keep going towards the bottom, who knows? Or he wants to get it all the way to the bottom ramp so he can get a heads up of when the Reapers or the Reaper and Hellions show up. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it crossing the minerals here. That's nice.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he goes through the minerals. That's kind of smart.
So we're gonna have this Queen's position. It's very difficult to break in with Hellions. I mean, we saw the amazing defense that Cyril had against Soul. On this particular map, it's just so difficult for the Terran to break in with these units, given that there's ramps and chokes leading up to everywhere. But hey, Cham might just find an opening here as the Queens are a little bit out of position, or Kelazhur rather find an opening, but as they get back, the Hellions will also put.
I gotta say, that was really weird, as Cham was building a spine crawler for like 30, 40 seconds. Well, not 30, 40. Like 20 seconds, and then he cancelled it. And I was like, why are we building a spine? Anyway, he did it in between the Evo chambers as well, so it created a bit of a wall-off, but not exactly sure what he saw, that he felt he needed a spine, but at least he cancelled it, and that's good news for him.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a little bit weird indeed. Let's see. There's another Banshee, so Kelazhur seems very confident in this opening. I think it's more than anything else, just not taking any chances, right? Just saying, hey, like, don't roach me.
This is nice. That's quite a bit of damage already on this Banshee. This Banshee does not have Cloak. Only a single Spore Crawler was built by Cham. He is building a second one. Where's the second one going up? Okay. So they're both kind of going up at the same spot, but who really cares? Maybe it just feels that's the only spot that this single Banshee will be coming from. But Kelazhur is basically doing the same thing as he did on Death Horror, right? Single safety Banshee, try to force out some spores, maybe get a bit of damage done, which worked out great in game 1, not really in this game, but it's not that big of a deal for Kelazhur.
Yeah, he hasn't been as successful on most of his attempts, right? Like the Banshee wasn't successful. It was a good job defending by Cham. Also, creep spread hasn't been as contained as it was in that particular game, though. Kelazhur has repeatedly gone back in and sniped tumors in this game. He hasn't sniped all of them, at least like he did in that game. So Cham has some stuff working for him, and this could be a nice little run by. He'll only get 2 SCVs picked off, but those are SCVs building supply depots. Unfortunately for him, Kelazhur has a little bit of supply to win.
Yep. The Hellions will turn around and start fighting these Zerglings. I gotta say, Kelazhur handled that very well. He was a bit out of position. That could have been scary. Now, way more Zerglings are going for the surround. Will we get the surround? The answer is yes. 3 out of 4 Hellions, and the Reaper gets caught. Well done by Cham.
Yeah, really well done. And these Hellions are not out on the map anymore to where Cham has to be worried about them, so he can focus entirely on this next push coming forward from Kelazhur. So I would love to see what Cham is gonna do. He also has a contingency of links in the north ready to go for a ram by. I'm not sure you want to be engaging there, buddy. There's a lot of rocks and you don't have Baneling speed yet, but this counterattack could do well.
Yep, not that many Marines, but there is one medevac that's going to make life for these Marines a little bit better. And I do think it's barely enough. Kelazhur once again bulletproof at home. He's going to try to get more damage done with his little attack. I think he's just trying to bait those Banelings and Zerglings in range of that tank.
Yeah, this is good by Cham though, and he has also 5 Banelings or so on the other side of the map that now have reached the rest of his army, though. Kelazhur catches wind of it. Beautiful micro there by the Brazilian, and good decision-making to just go for it as fast as possible, and Cham ends up with another deficit.
Yep, and now Kelazhur feeling confident enough to just move forward, has the Banshee there as well helping out. I mean, bulletproof is an understatement. Kelazhur is just incredibly solid at home. He knows what he could lose against. He knows the things that can really trickle up his build order. He's not making any errors at all. Now he's feeling confident enough to send his reinforcements to the other side of the map and finds a lot of Zerglings and morphing Banelings here for Cham.
Oh yeah, and those are gonna morph. I think finally Baneling speed is at least done, so Cham can kind of zone out with his Banelings and prevent the rest of the reinforcements from Kelazhur from joining with this army.
Oh no.
Just going towards the tank like a mosquito to the daylight.
It is almost over at this point. Cham has lost 5k resources. Kelazhur has only lost 1600 minerals. Kelazhur is showing us that last season that was a fluke. That shouldn't have happened. He should have been the one in the grand finals. And wow, what an incredibly convincing performance by